Sometimes with tarot, the right question and the right spread can really unlock some powerful information. This is a spread I use for myself and with clients, and it's actually based on a shamanic healing technique I use. Now, it's definitely a spread that is best done with a good cup of tea or coffee, a notebook, and a bit of time. And I have to admit, on this occasion, I've already done the spread once and looked at it for myself because it takes time. But it's also really simple. So you start off by looking through the cards and consciously finding the one. So looking at the images and choosing one to represent the problem in your life that you are looking to understand. So this is not a predictive spread. This is a problem-solving spread. Now, my problem at the moment is I've got a money wound, the Five of Pentacles. I have begun to really note that when I check my emails, if there's something negative there about money, if somebody's maybe cancelled an appointment, if there's something from the tax office, I get an immediate emotional reaction. And definitely when the post comes, I am checking for bills. And this is an emotional problem because although life might be tough as a solo parent and renting in the UK, I'm not actually in desperate times. So this is an emotional wound that I'm trying to understand. So whatever your problem is, whether it's feeling isolated, feeling burnt out, in my case, it's financial fears of financial lack and a money wound. Look through and find the card that really represents this for you. And what I will do is I will share another video quite soon, making some suggestions as to what this card could be. Then you take your deck, you shuffle carefully, looking at this card, and you ask yourself, where does this block or this wound come from? Where is the root of this problem? And these are the three cards in the order that I got them. And I like to start from the center and then work out. That represent the root of my problem. Sometimes, oddly, the Four of Cups can represent birth. There's a real connection here with the Ace of Cups. I also have, with the Eight of Cups, a feeling that if life gets tough, I'll move on, which when you have 4 kids just doesn't work quite so well as when I was in my 20s and my 30s, which was definitely a time when if I felt skin, I would move somewhere else, get a new job, kind of start again. And I just always, a procrastination feeling that I always think that next week, next month, next year, I'll swing my brain round sorting my finances out, and I never do. So oddly, there's nothing particularly dark there. I think I've just got used to living not feeling comfortable with finances, and maybe I've got used to it. But I'm definitely going to sit and take some time and journal on this because the root of the wound isn't something we naturally know about, because if we really understood it, we'd have probably resolved the emotional wound by now. So I'm going to sit with that and do some journaling. Now, this is really important. You keep these 4 cards out and you reshuffle the rest of the deck. And what you're saying to yourself is, you're saying, I am working on that. It may take you, and it's worth taking a photograph of the whole spread, or if you're working with tarot stickers, to create, an image of the spread, because this is one where coming back to it and sitting with it will really help. But what you're saying to the cards is, I get it. I'm working on it. I'm going to sit with that. I'm going to acknowledge that my issue, which in my case is fears of lack of financial support, this is representing the root. So the next 3 cards, and you have reshuffled the deck, they represent what can I best do now to start to work through this problem. So whatever these cards are, you are going to try and sit with them as practical things you can do. And the first card, the Star, this is something I'm already trying to do. And you may well find this. If this is something you've been working on for a while, these cards may validate that what you're already doing is good and useful. The Star, I am trying to create a vision board of what I would like my finances to look like and what I would do if I felt I had money left over to spare. I know what I would do. I would take the ferry boat that goes from Bergen in Norway right the way up to the Norwegian coast and come back again. I did a very small trip on that a couple of years ago, and to do the whole trip is one of my dreams. So I'm trying to create a vision board for the business, create a vision board for how I would enjoy my life if I wasn't second guessing every penny and every bill. Temperance is a really powerful card for me because it's about getting the balance right. Now, I know that when I feel anxious about money, I overwork. I am aware that's one of my loops. And temperance is reminding me that the more I overwork, the more anxious I feel about the money, and it just doesn't actually make a difference. This is less of a physical problem and more of an emotional problem. So temperance in this case is reminding me to get the balance right. And the Seven of Pentacles, a really powerful card, I think, for anybody who worries about lack, financial lack. The Seven of Pentacles is reminding me to use the money that I have well. I'm notoriously bad at boundaries with my kids. I tend to overcompensate for things. And I don't always choose, the best way to spend my money. So it's definitely reminding me to use the money that I have well. And now what I want you to do is you keep these 7 cards out. And what I'm going to do when I finish this video is I am going to mind map and come up with perhaps 3 practical solutions for each of these. For example, for Star, I might say, right, I'm going to create a vision plan for where I want the business to be at the end of the year and how I'm going to achieve that. I'm going to create a vision plan for dreams that I would like to enjoy next year, presuming that I can deal with this lack of finances. And maybe I might think about a saving plan and a way that I can save for things that I would love to do next year. So try and think of 3 practical things for each of these as to-do cards. You leave these 7 out, reshuffle again. Because what we're doing with this is we're acknowledging that by sitting with these cards, something has shifted. And explore this. See what happens if you start a spread, really sit with it, understand the implications. You are changing your future. So we're by sitting with the first 3, by sitting with the next 3, I'm improving my future. Now, I believe that most people can be inspired. Everybody can be inspired. So the last 3 cards, just as these middle 3 are read as practical actions, the last 3 are read as positive hope. Even if you get a really negative card, like the 9 of Swords, you would reread that as saying, letting go of overthinking. Every single card in the deck can be framed in a positive way. And this is the hope. This is why I'm going to sit with my wound. This is why I'm going to take practical action, because it will get me to this end goal. Well, the first one is the Knight of Cups. Now, I would love the Knight of Cups to be a romantic partner. I'm currently single. But I think for me that means more. That's more to do with content creation and writing the work that I would love to do. Because if I had more time, if I wasn't quite so dependent on my brutal client hours, and I am grateful to have those good client hours, but they can be brutal. If I had more time, I would love to do more writing. So I think, and that's something when I wrote my first book, it was getting up very early in the morning to write before doing a full day. I would love to get to the point where I have committed writing hours that are separate to my working hours. Well, of course, I knew this was coming because I have done this spread for myself already. Every card can be read in a positive way. I think I have got used to thinking that life is a struggle. That's how I'm comfortable, the worldview that I'm comfortable in believing. I think this is saying, what if I let that go? What if I imagine that I just do have enough money? What if I experience just the freedom to have enough money? It can be scary to sit with success. Sometimes it's even scarier than failure. So I think that is about sort of freeing myself from self-limiting beliefs and how exciting that could be. And I do believe that I miss opportunities because I don't believe in the financial security of my business. In fact, I know that to be true. So I think I would, if I let go of my emotional wound about money, I will actually find that new opportunities come in that are perhaps more to do with content creation and writing to allow me to increase my financial stability again. Now, of course, if you've read, and this bit of the spread I haven't done, if you've followed me for a while, you'll know that one of the things that I do is I look at the card at the bottom of the pack. Now, with this spread, there are two ways you can do this. Either one, if you are going to sit with this maybe for an hour and journal and do it all in one go, then each time you shuffle the pack here, here, and here, you can look at the card at the bottom of the pack, but I wouldn't leave it out because it takes up too many cards then. Or if, like me, I did it quite quickly, I knew I wanted to come back and journal, then when you've done the whole spread, you can shuffle, cut, and have one card at the bottom of the pack for the whole spread. Now, this one I haven't obviously seen. And this is, I call this, in this spread, the doorstep card. This is kind of, what do I most need to understand about this whole situation? And it's the Page of Swords. It is reminding me that this situation has more to do with my own anxiety than it does to do with physical reality. And I'm aware I am not very good at sitting down and going through my costings, my profit, my accounts, my incomings, my outgoings. It's always at the bottom of a very big to-do list. So I tend to worry about it more than perhaps the practical reality is. So have fun with this spread. I hope you enjoy it. It's, like I said, it's definitely based on a form of shamanic healing that I would often do with clients, where I will shamanically journey to sit with the wounds. And then I will work with a client's guides to say, so, what should my client embody in their life? I'm very proactive in believing that a shamanic healing, or a tarot reading, in fact, unlocks something for a client, but doesn't solve the problems. The problems are solved in real life. And then I often go to the crown to really kind of get that or the solar plexus, to get that inspiration of how could my client's life change if they embody and allow this healing to take place. So I love crossing over between the runes and the tarot and the shamanic, and blending it all together.